welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we're putting the box back on the dually. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can lift it up.
This side's good. It's just scraping the tires. It's all right.
Those things look underneath. All right, the box is back on. Now we got to get it. There's something I forgot to do on the other side, so it's sitting a little cockeyed right now, but that's okay. We'll get that fixed up, and then we'll get all our bolts, because we've got there's 8 bolts that go, like Chrysler bolts, that go through the frame of the truck into the box, and then there are 6 bolts that go through the 5th wheel brackets down into the brackets on the frame. So we'll get that all kind of loosely installed, and then we'll tighten everything up. We got the box jockeyed into position. Got the 8 bolts that bolted to the frame installed. We've got all the carriage bolts that go down through the 5th wheel rails installed. Everything is tight. Next things we have to do is secure the fuel filler neck, and there's a little ground wire underneath there that I guess grounds the taillights. Now we can put the taillights back in, and she's slowly looking more and more like a truck. There we go. The little lock tab seems to be missing from this one, but that's okay. They pop in, and then 2 screws in the edge of it. Now we're going to install our in-bed trailer plug, and it's going to go right there. This is the adapter from a 4th gen truck, because if you just drill a hole and try to put that in, the cavity behind isn't deep enough, and it'll hit the other side. So we use this thing, and that sorts it all out. If you want to do this yourself, this is just a 3rd gen bumper trailer plug you can get at the junkyard, and that there is the part number for this part from the dealer. We need to start by cutting a 2.5-inch hole in this inner wall here, and there is the center right there. It's not easy to see on this Line-X, but so you can see how deep we've got. That's how deep the side of the box is, and that little adapter just gives us the little bit extra that we need. So when you're drilling in here, if you have a single wheel truck, you need to be very careful, because when the drill breaks through, it could come and whack the outer outer box side and put a ping in it. We don't want that. This is a dually, so if we go through and hit it, at least we don't see nothing. Well, here's the part where we separate the men from the boys. I need a 2.5-inch hole here. I got a 2 5/8 hole saw. Close enough. Now I just got to clean up this. Leaves a nasty edge, hole saws do. Now, I thought I was so smart figuring this all out until I went to put it together. And you'll realize that the 3rd gen plug and the 4th gen adapter have different bolt patterns. Unbelievable. So anyway, I have a solution to that. Step 1, a 1/8 drill bit. And we're going to drill all the way through these. So what we got to do is now we hold this thing in there and drill all the way through it, right through the face of the plug with our 1/8 drill bit. Then we open the hole up in the plug to 5/32, which gives us clearance for our screw, and screw it in. Then we can go around and do the other 3 holes. There we are. Got that all together. And in the meantime, when I'm out and about, I'm going to keep my eye out for the right plug that adapts to this a little bit better. But for now, this is what we got, so that's what we're working with. Now, I measured out, there's 2 locating tab holes here. So we've drilled those, and I've drilled 1/4-inch holes in the box side. And these self-tapping 5/16 bolts are going to hold it together, theoretically. There we are. Get in there. There. Now we can zing our bolts in. That is nice. That's 4th gen style. Now we can put our bumper back on. Man, this thing is looking better by the minute. There's supposed to be a plastic plug in here to cover this center hole where the you can put a hitch ball. This thing is actually, I think, rated for 5,000 pounds just to tow off the bumper. But anyway, I thought, what the heck? I found a nice brand new hitch ball that fit in there, so I put it in. It's a truck; it should have a hitch ball in the step bumper. And sometimes you never know what you need. I remember one time, Deb's dad and me, while we had to tow a trailer on a trailer. That was a long time ago. Hey, John, you remember that? Now I'm getting the back rack installed. That is, pretty straightforward. We just, I measured the center of the box, measured the center of the rack to make sure we got it centered up. We're using the no drill toolbox brackets as opposed to the low profile drill ones. They do just sit up a tiny bit here, but that's okay. This thing is on solid. And once we get the toolbox on with some weight in it, it'll set down. And if I've got enough room here at the back, I may just put like a cap or a tonneau cover clamp on here just to clamp that down. We'll see how it works out. The toolbox sits in there perfectly, and as you can see, we've got room for a couple of cap clamps there. You can even use a couple of cheap C clamps, and anything will really do the job there. So what we'll have to do now is we've got to open it up and drill our holes down through and come up with some way of installing a captive nut or something so we can attach the toolbox. Sometimes the easiest way is the best way, So to attach the toolbox to the rails here, I found that the existing holes in the box, and they're laid out so nicely, I would guess almost that they're factory holes. They're just inboard of the edge of this metal thing. So all I did was I used one screw to anchor a piece of 2x4 up under this hunk of channel, and we'll sit the toolbox on and zing 4 roofing screws down through it, and it's not going to go anywhere. Well, that's anchored down good. That's solid as a rock. I also went ahead and ordered a couple of cap clamps just to clamp down these ends of this bracket. I don't really think it needs it, but it'll just make me feel better. Oh, that looks pretty good. Everything's test fit now. I put these nice lights on it. They're pretty cool. They swivel every which way. Really handy to have on here. I like those. I don't know where I got them, but I've been saving them for a long time to use them on something. Yeah. She's looking like a truck that could do some work now, eh? Now that I've got this all sorted out, we're going to pull the box and the back rack back out. I'm going to get this thing outside and scrub, get some degreaser, try and get the dirt and everything out of this Line-X. And then I'm going to get some CLR and see if I can get the rust stains out. That looks to have cleaned up pretty nicely. CLR doesn't seem to be doing squat to these rust stains. May have to try something else. It's not perfect, but it does look a lot better. Now we can start getting ready to install our back rack for keeps. The first thing we need to do is make sure that these mounting studs are making a ground. It won't on top of this Line-X, but on the inside of the stake pocket, it's bare steel, so it should. That way we know. So we're checking for continuity from one stud through the box to the other stud. And if we get it, that'll show us that both of these things have continuity. And therefore, our lights on the back rack can just be grounded right to the back rack. We don't have to run a separate ground wire. And there we go. We've got continuity, so we're good. So what we need to do is get these two lights hooked up, our work lights, and we're going to put a plug on the bottom of this top rail here. That's a weatherproof 12-volt outlet, and that'll allow us a place to plug in our beacon. This circuit will be controlled by a toggle switch on the dash, but I still need somewhere to plug it in. The first thing I've done is put two tabs on the back side of this. The first one is on this side because our beacon here, you can see it's got 3 magnets on the bottom. So we can put it on like that, and now it sticks good. And then on this side, you can see our CB antenna up there on the roof. If I have a CB antenna anymore, I do not want it stuck to the roof. So we put another tab, and the CB antenna can sit here. That's my plan anyway. I've got now all the wire laid in for our lights and stuff, and they terminate here. And I've got a little harness coming up between the box and the cab that we'll plug this into once we get the thing back on. Okay, it's on. I'm still waiting for a couple of little clamps to come so I can clamp the back end of this. But it's okay. It's on there pretty good. So now you can see if we need it. Our little beacon goes there and it plugs in here. And this plug will be controlled by a switch on the dash. The toolbox is now mounted permanently. We got this little piece of flashing in here because the toolbox is sitting up on those brackets. The tonneau cover, I guess I could have actually put it under it. But anyway, we put this little piece of flashing here so the tonneau cover's got something to butt up against. And we'll install that, but first I'm waiting for the two little clamps. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. So once I get the 2 little clamps for the back of these rails, we'll go ahead and start getting the rest of this thing put back together. Now we're going to install some bed lighting. I got these online. They were advertised as an upgrade, super bright, better than the factory ones. So I bought them. We're going to install them. They come with the little pigtails to drop down. And we're going to use a rocker switch underneath it. But for now, we're going to get our holes laid in. We need a hole for the main plug there and a hole for that alignment pin. So first thing we're going to do is just, I've got a line where I want the top of the light marked. And we're just going to push it into this tape here, which will leave a witness mark where we need to put our large hole for the plug. So you can see the mark it left there. Now we're going to drill back here and we'll make our large hole like that. We don't want to, if we drill right on center of this, the hole will actually kind of escape from behind the light. I'm sure I didn't want to pull the lights out of my 18 to see what the hole is, but I'm sure it's an oval hole on that was punched, but we have to make a round hole because those are the tools we've got. So we're going to offset it a little bit, and the hole will be completely hidden behind the lamp. I've got the hole up to a 1/2 inch with a couple of drill bits, and now we're going to run this uni-bit right through it, and that'll bring the hole to the correct size that we need. Now we're going to push the light against it, and the alignment pin goes to the bottom. You can also tell the bottom by that little square patch there. So we're going to, first we have to fish the plug up. Pardon me.
Mr. Speaker. Yeah, wonderful that it shall be.
Now we push the light against here, and you can see the witness mark left by the alignment dowel. So we'll drill that hole out, and then we can get the light screwed to the truck.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now we just have to hold the light in position and drill 2 holes for the mounting screws. This here is the weatherproof switch we're going to use. It's a rocker switch. It's illuminated. So that's going to go underneath here. We have to poke a little square hole in there. And these switch didn't come with any directions at all. So we're going to have to figure out how in the world to hook it up. There we go. It's not easy punching a square hole in metal. So I just went around, I laid it out, and I went all the way around with a 1/8 drill bit, and then hacked it out with a chisel, and then just squared the hole up and got it to the right size with a file. And our switch fits in nice and snug. Perfect. Now we just got to rig up a test light and a battery and figure out how the heck to hook this thing up. Took me a minute fooling around trying to figure out how to hook up the wires to the switch to make the internal light up. Not that it's a big deal, but it has it, so we like it to work. But anyway, there you are. We've got 4th gen style LED bed lighting in our 3rd gen truck. Now I'm going to have a go at putting the tonneau cover back on. So we got it on. This whole thing has seen better days, that's for sure. But for now, it's the one we've got. I'm going to go ahead now and put the tailgate on and make sure that this thing fits good around that. Let's see if our lights make any difference at all in here. Yep, look at that. So at night, you would actually be able to look around under here and see stuff. My little clamps came, and they're just, the inside of them is just a little shy of what I need. So luckily, it was a set of 4. So we're going to cut them, and we're going to cut all 4 of them and make these ones a little taller. We got our little clamps fixed up, and now they fit in there. There, you can just see it in there. It doesn't really hold it down. It just keeps it from rocking. Now we can put our little piece of flashing back under it, get the toolbox screwed back down, and put the tonneau cover back on. There we are. This stuff is all installed for keeps now. It's all set and tightened up. That looks pretty awesome. We've got this hole on either side of the box that just had a blind grommet in it. The one on the other side was gone because that's where they brought the wire for the old trailer plug up through. So anyway, I was going to go to the boneyard and try and find a couple of those grommets to replace them, but better yet, I found these little hooks. They just go in like that. That'll be just fine. We'll put those in there, and we'll be all set. All I got to do is pop the tail light out, and I can reach in there to hold the nut and tighten it up. That's pretty cool. The more things you have to tie stuff to, the better off you are. Next thing I want to deal with is my stake pockets. So these rear ones here have these hide hooks, and they're really cool little things. They're like on an eccentric. They flip up like that. These were made by Penda, which is a company that I'm pretty sure was owned by Chrysler. that made bed liners and bed accessories back in the day. Unfortunately, you can't get these things anymore, and we only have them on the back. We don't have them in our middle stake pockets. Our front ones are covered by the toolbox, so that doesn't really matter. But I tried and searched and searched and searched, and I could not find another pair of these. I found Chevy ones. You could still get, there's still a lot of Chevy ones kicking around, but they're bigger, and the Chevy stake pockets are bigger, so you would have to modify the backing plate that goes under there. And I thought, I don't want to do that. Let me see if there's something else I can use. I found these ones by Ericsson. They're kind of neat. They come up. They've got a detent, so they stay up when you put them up. And when you stow them, they're out of sight. I got these at Princess Auto, $22.99 a pair. I wish if I had a little more patience, I could probably wait until they come on sale, because everything at Princess Auto comes on sale. It's kind of like Canadian Tire. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I need them, so I got them. So we're going to put them in. So this is very similar. It goes in the same way. You get it started in, and just like that. And you got to make sure the other side of the crab goes there. Okay. So now what I do is I put a little anti-seize on these screws, and we'll put it together and tighten it up. And there we are. That one's in, and you can push it down, and if you want to use it, like I said, you just pull it up, and it's got detents, and I think they say 1,000 pound capacity. I would guess that's per pair, but that's fine. I'm not going to use them to lift the truck up in the air. Now I'll put in the other one. Well, that's those done. All 4 of them are in. I like how they fit. They seem to be nice and strong. On to the next job. What we're going to do now is put the snaps on the tonneau cover. I've marked where I want to put them. Pretty much equidistant all the way down, every 10 inches or so. So the first thing we're going to do is pull it down over the rail here, and we're going to drill through the edge of the cover and the rail here. Then we can install the base of the snap and the dome for the other side of the snap. We'll crimp them together after. We'll have to take the cover back off the truck to do that. Now you can see there we've drilled through there. I riveted on. Now the nose of the rivet gun won't fit down inside there. So I just made this little spacer here. It's just a number 6 nut, and I had to round off the corners just a tiny bit so it would fit in there, and that takes up the space so we can rivet it. And then the dome, we just twist it down into the hole that we drilled through the edge of the cover. And that's all we're going to do for now. We'll crimp it together after. So you can see that riveted on and the dome stuck in. Now this is actually a little bit tight. I'm going to have to, when I go to install this, we're going to have to go out, park it out in the hot sun and get it to stretch out, because this cover was, I took it off in the fall and it spent all winter rolled up. And it kind of shrunk a little bit. So we'll get it stretched back out. It just has to sit in the sun a little bit, and we'll be able to get this thing back. Now we can start putting this half of the snap together. You see that there. So that's the other end of the dome sticking through from the exposed side of the cover. So what we're going to do now is, you've got this guy here, the die that goes underneath there. And that supports, it's got a concave surface to it, and that supports the dome. Then we put this guy on, that's the actual snap, and then we use this tool here and give it a few good whacks with a hammer, and that will peen that over and make it complete. Just like that. We'll continue, get the rest of them done, and we'll see what it looks like. So there we are. We can see all the snaps down the side, and we'll see if they'll actually stay. Anyway, let me work my way down, see if I can get them snapped. Getting one side snapped will be easy. Getting the other side snapped might not be so much fun. Not bad. We got some of them to grab, but it's definitely going to go have to sit out in the sun before we can get any more of these snaps to snap. Well, we finally got a hot sunny day. I've left this thing baking out here in the sun all morning, and finally I've got all the snaps done up. So we'll let it sit here with the snaps done up, and hopefully things, you know, stretch out a little bit. That was great. We got the box back on, all dressed out. Now we can move on to the next step, which will be the interior. We'll start that in the next video. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Hope you continue to support our channel. Until we meet again, this is Kevin saying so long from the Claremont Classic Garage.